All right, friends. My friends Amy and Larry that have those trikes, those aircraft. Um, they, of course, like most everybody else goes in that industry, goes to Oshkosh every year, and it's happening now. So, I was gonna say, if you're going to Oshkosh, stop by and see Larry and Amy. Tell them Snippy sent me, Jay Snip sent me, just for fun. Um, but maybe you want to into purchasing some aircraft. I was like, you know, I said before you got there, I said, I just got this. Not I don't know if it's a feeling or more of a thought. Like, I hope they sell 2 or 3 aircraft. Like, hey, why not? And they don't usually sell them at the show, But I just talked to her, and she's like, we had to use one. We actually just sold it. Shocking. We never sell anything when we're here at the show. And I go, well, just so you know, I had this little thought a few days ago. Maybe you'll sell 2 or 3. I said, not of the little single seat ones like this. The Rev, and there's a Rev X, which are single seat. This one's more powerful. I was like, but one of these two, the Revolt or the Revo, and the one that I ended up getting from her, Amy, I bought hers used, was this one. Essentially, it's mine's purple because was her color, but you can cruise between 40 and 45 and 80 miles per hour. Again, depends on the wing. Stall speed, again, depending on the wing and such, 33 miles per hour. Takeoff distance, 180 feet. Like, just pretty ridiculous, That's what they look like without the wing too. See, all you need is a sport pilot license, and with the sport pilot license, you don't have to have like biannual reviews, and you don't have to go with like a FAA examiner or designated examiner. Pretty much, they can solo you, and then between the two of them, you do your test flight or your check ride, if you will, with them, and they'll pass you or fail you. But it's not nearly as bad as like getting your private pilot and having to get the certain medical. You have to have a certain class medical certificate. Not with these things. And then you have a sport pilot. There's even sport planes that actually, go over 200 mile an hour if you want to get somewhere. They seat 2 people, of course, because it's a sport pilot, light sport aircraft. But you'd be qualified technically to fly one of those, I believe. So these things are a lot of fun. It's like you're in a motorcycle in the sky, as you can see. And right in this area right here, it'll have like basically a windshield, if you will, made of, I don't know if it's plexiglass or what the material is, but so it's blocks you. You also can wear a helmet, which we typically do. You got communication between the two of you. It's just a lot of fun. So let's see what old Larry has to say on YouTube.
Over here we have the CKT stainless steel exhaust system, and this entire motor is mounted on a dynafocal firewall style motor mount system, so it's very, very, very smooth. You have an electric fan for the radiator, so if you're in the desert or somewhere where it's extremely hot, this machine will not overheat, and it can sit at idle on the ground with no temperature problems. It's controlled by a digital thermostat that's programmable, so you can actually literally make this engine run any temperature you want. For starting the engine, we use an EarthX ETX 680. This is a $380 battery, standard on the Revolt. Coming down here, this is one of my favorite parts. The Cnc Axle Carrier. If you notice this hole here, this is a tie-down point, and it's nice and round and soft so it doesn't hurt any of your straps. And that holds the 3/4 inch hardened chromoly axle. We've got pinch set screws that takes any slop out of the axles. And then down below, this is a dual hydraulic brake. So there's 4 brake pads and 2 pistons on this disc brake. It's a braided stainless steel brake line. And then coming up this way, you'll see we've got an 18.7 gallon fuel tank. So that gives you over an 8-hour endurance. It could be less if you're flying it faster or harder. Up top, you've got the BRS, the 1050 parachute. These are actual Fox gas-charged shocks with 7 inches of travel.
So when he says the BRS parachute, he's talking about you get in an oh crap situation, your wing broke, I mean, God forbid something happened. Not just in an engine out, but typically with this, you're just going to glide down. But if you're in an area where you're over trees and there ain't nothing around, pull the chute and turn the engine off first. Pull the chute. You pull a little lever off to the left side. You'll probably see it. I already saw it earlier in the video. And the thing deploys, and the whole entire aircraft with you and your passenger in it come down on one big parachute. So you just sit down. You just sit, and I forgot what angle it kind of comes down, but nonetheless, it's like you're safe. Parachute deploys, and you're just going to come down nice and easy, you know. And maybe you'll damage the wing a little bit if on the way down when you hit the ground, possibly. But again, you lived, and you lived to tell about it easily. So that's what he's talking about with that chute.
Then if you'll notice, we're using the fire-sleeved fuel lines, and the rest of all the lines are air-equipped. So these are the oil lines. There's no hose clamps anywhere. Coming around this way, you get a glimpse. We've got the Wheelin' all LED nav strobe position lights. Standard is the Curtis oil quick drain, so you can do oil changes on this in just a matter of a couple of minutes. Also standard is an electric fuel pump and an oil thermostat. Down here, you'll see these are the standard 21-inch. These are the small street tires that we have. We have much larger off-field tires available as well as an option. For getting in and out of the aircraft, you simply push the seat out of the way, and then you can step here, and into the back. One of the neatest things about the Revolt is the seating. The seating on this allows the passenger to look straight forward, and they're not looking at the back of the pilot's head. This particular model has the fully removable roll cage with windscreen. And this windscreen is enough that the person in the back seat does not need any eye protection, even at 80 miles per hour, which is the fast cruise when using the electric trim and the high performance Rival X option as the wing. You'll notice, and it may be hard for the camera to pick up, but these LEDs match the powder coat exactly, and that's fully programmable LED lighting, extremely bright. This is the windshield bracket mounts, so you can run a frameless windshield in lieu of this whole roll cage system. If you'll notice, the pedals are modular, so these pedals can go up or down the forks. They're not quick adjust, but you can set it up exactly for your height. So a very tall pilot might have them down here. A very short pilot may prefer them up here. If you look at the parking brake system, it's a hydraulic valve. So you just apply the brake, turn the valve like so, and you've got a great parking brake that'll hold the aircraft in place. The ignition is keyed, so your magnetos are right on the key, just like if you were flying a GA certified aircraft. In fact, all of the wire in this machine is Tefcell aircraft wire, and it uses a ground seeking.
All right, so I think he's got a video on his site where he was out like in Arizona, and there's some people on four-wheelers and stuff, and he just comes down, both of them. It was a cool video. And I'm thinking they were one of those, maybe was the one I bought from Amy when she had it. So I'm gonna pause this real quick, see if I can find it. All right, I think I'm not sure if this is it, but this is maybe from the same time they went out there. And that actually is the one I bought from her. Although I got a different wing. I got one of his new designed wings that I have on there now. And a new prop. I got a new design prop he's got. So that's actually the aircraft I bought from him. That was the first thing I bought when it came to flying anything. And then the helicopter came later. So this thing is pretty cool.
And climbing. Birds everywhere. Making a left turn. You're clear. I'm at 26.
And by the way, these types of aircraft, like light sport pilot license type of aircrafts, that or aircraft, they don't have to follow some of the rules that the bigger planes have to follow, such as height above ground. And kind of like helicopters, we don't have to follow those rules, a lot of those rules. So you enjoy that with these things too, which is why he's probably down there playing around having a good time.
This area right in here is where the early settlers all traveled through.
7 feet below you, caution, do not fly the airport or east side of the field.
They had a choice in here to either cut through this area, which is very heavily treed, or to go across the desert.
Mind you guys, we're bouncing all over the place though.
Yeah, we are too. It's not that comfortable. Doesn't look like it would be that bouncy, but
Yeah, you guys look solid as a rock, so it's funny.
yeah, I tried 2,000 feet and it wasn't any better, but I slowed it down a little bit.
Told ya.
Yeah, Rick, you're right. Hey, let's go over to, where'd you go, Larry?
365.
Okay, I'm gonna take us over to Powers Butte so that you can at least scout that. So I'm making a left turn here, and we'll fly along the Hacienda. So there's big power lines just after that bridge, just so you know.
Yeah, I see all the towers.
I'm off to your right here. I'm at about your 90, almost the same height, so don't go right.
Good job.
Yeah, I did. There was one where there were some people four-wheeling and they just kind of flew over them. It was pretty cool. I'm not sure which video that was, but it's probably the same time frame because it looked almost the same kind of terrain and scene. So that's funny to see that one that I bought out there flying out there. There's a place in, I think it's New Mexico. New Mexico Tent Rocks. Temporarily closed. And I had a dream. This is a while back. And I saw these things. These pointed things. And they were just all over the place. And I just knew, and I have to go back to my dream book to see what the hell I wrote, but like I was flying above. So I was in some kind of aircraft, and I believe it was the one that I bought from Amy because I did own it at that time. And I was just like flying above, kind of looking down. I wasn't real high above those tops, you know, maybe a couple hundred feet or so. And I just got this feeling like, where the hell is this place? Like when I woke up, I've got to find this place. I got to go there. What is this? And I'm like, I have no effing idea. I don't even know what to look for. The next day, Ian was real young at the time, you know, still a baby. I'm feeding him, and I'm like, oh, JC's doing a live stream with somebody. Let me tune in and see what he's saying there. You know, I'll watch that while I'm feeding Ian. So I had my little phone next to me, whatever. I'm watching. I mean, almost immediately, JC puts up this. Matter of fact, it may have already been up when I first clicked on the button to watch it. This place called Tent Rocks in New Mexico. And it's this. And I go, oh my God, that's it. Holy crap, that's it. And now what's the chances of that happening like that? I get this dream the day before. It's incredible. Or, you know, maybe it was 2 days before. I don't know. I thought it was the day before. And JC, so he goes, no, you didn't tune in earlier? No. He goes, go back. I'll find the timestamp. Go back and watch it. So he sends it to me. I press play. They already showed the image, and then he goes, "Oh no, hold on. I'm gonna put that back up." I need to put that back up and let it play, just stay in the background. I feel like somebody needs to see this, or something along those lines. I'm going, what? I was like, yeah, that's me. It's your friend. I'm the one that needed it. You know, like, that's incredible. He goes, yeah. And I was saying I could sense somebody needs this, so I'm going to put it back up and let it just stay here. Of course, if he did not do that, and I tuned in at that time that I did, I would have missed it. So I was just like, wow. So I was talking with Julianne. She was doing a reading with me one time, and she says, yeah, oh, you need to go there. There's an energy there that you need to get, you know, need to receive. And I was like, yeah, but I think it's like closed because of COVID, some nonsense, you know. And she goes, yeah, but you have a flying machine, don't you? I go, oh yeah, but I mean, I can just fly over it? She goes, well, you saw it in the dream, didn't you? I go, yeah. She goes, yeah, you don't have to be on the ground. You can fly right over it. She goes, I think as long as you're close to it, you'll get what you need out of it. And I go, well, okay. So, of course, I'm just looked right now to show you the picture. The damn thing's still temporary closed? You effing kidding me? Come on. Kasha Katoe, or Katoe, Tent Rocks National Monument. So, I mean, it's definitely an area, Cochiti Pueblo, those Indians. So, yeah, I mean, this is definitely a great, managed by the Bureau of Land Management. And, yeah, just real interesting place. Never been there in my life. There's so many interesting things in New Mexico. You just don't even have any idea. Like, just beautiful things. And it's one of the least populated states in the entire country. Least populated states in the USA. Wyoming, 500,000 people. Vermont, 623,000 people. DC, I don't count Washington, DC. Alaska, 724,000. North Dakota, South Dakota, 700, 800, 900,000. Delaware, 990,000. And then I know New Mexico's down there. Those are most, yeah, there we go. New Mexico, I think, let's go down. Has 2 million people in the entire state. Which, I mean, again, there's still quite a few people that are states that don't necessarily have that many either. Nebraska has just slightly under that. Idaho, slightly under that. West Virginia, even less. Hawaii, even less. Which is just, you know, it's kind of interesting to me. You go up to Florida, it's like, Jiminy Christmas, we're third in the effing country. 22 million people live here. California, 40 million. Texas, 30 million. New York, 20 million. Pennsylvania, 13 million. Illinois, 12. Ohio, 11. Georgia, 10. North Carolina, 10. Michigan, 10. I guess, you know, there's some states out there with some people, but, you know, again, New Mexico was closer to, you know, it's only 50, 40, 1, 2, 3. It would be the 14th least populated state. And I'm only saying that because there's just, you know, for a place that has such absolute beautiful landscapes that you can go to, you can hike to, you can camp, you can just view them. And there's some places that we've discovered in its public area, a mountain area. It's not the one we typically mess with, but we were just exploring sometime. We're like, hey, let's go over there. You know, like let's just take a break. You know, we've been digging for every day. Our backs are kind of hurting. Let's go take a break and go. You know, someone told us to go check this place out, so we went over there. And there's a few little cliff dwellings, and it's not the main ones that they have road signs for. This is kind of like off the beaten path, but not really. I mean, there's a path there, and it's a different area. But the area around there, it's just freaking gorgeous. And when I showed you that picture the other day of like this horse that looked like it was carrying some saddlebag things, you know, of a rock structure, that's essentially the area. And there are 2 or 3 different places. It's just like, wow. And God, I just love being out there, man. And God, would I love to fly over, whether it's in the heli or one of these trikes. I don't even care. Of course, with the heli, oh, that looks like a cool place to land. Let's go down there. As long as it's not like national forest area, I don't think you can do that unless you have permission. But BLM land, managed land, all day, every day. Touchdown, land, get out, do what you want. As long as no one's in danger around you, you know, you're not landing on a freaking campsite, you know, yeah, you're good. And I've called to ask them about that. And in particular, some of the places that I want to go in New Mexico, and they affirmed, yeah, oh yeah, it's a good thing. So I actually ended up talking to one of the BLM guys that manages New Mexico and stuff. So, you know, one of the offices. So that's where from the horse's mouth, you know, like, yeah, oh yeah, New Mexico for sure. This area, yep, you're good. And he wasn't sure at first. He said, let me contact my law enforcement friend in BLM, and which is Bureau of Land Management, not Black Lives Matter. Sorry. And he called me back. He goes, yeah, no, he goes, you were right. You're good. You know, as long as it's not like a national forest or, you know, a preserve managed area, anything like that, you're good. And I go, okay, cool. So, man, I want to go out there. So anyways, if you're going out to Oshkosh, make sure you see Amy and Larry, and tell them Old Snip sent you. Those are good friends of mine. Take care.